Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, Wednesday lunchtime. Yay, we're moving through. So, if you know or don't know, the annual International Criminal Cabal meeting, otherwise known as the World Economic Forum, started yesterday. And the panic setting in among them is starting to come to light. Now, we all know they are globalists beyond belief, and as I said the other day, wait to see in the next couple of months all the lies, the craziness, the accusations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that are going to come about going into election time. And mind you, something like half the world has elections this year. Okay. So they're panicked about a complete overhaul of the globalist system they're trying to secretly put in. Not so they're not too good about keeping secrets. We all know what they're trying to do. So in the first 24 hours of this mafia meeting, I guess for lack of any other better term, it's been interesting to see what's coming out. Okay. Start right off with the EU Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen. And what was the first thing she said we have to do? Well, they need a public private partnership to enact tech censorship to halt the industrial scale disinformation campaign that's going out. I don't know, like climate change, that disinformation campaign, that one, renewable energy actually works. That disinformation campaign, yeah, okay, sure. I'm all for getting disinformation off the internet. That would be fabulous. We can start with everything that comes out of Davos. Okay? That would be a good place to start there. But that wasn't the only one. Okay, the next one you had was the Belgian Prime Minister Guy Verhofstadt, who is incensed about Donald Trump winning Iowa the other night, okay, and said that Europe is going to be on their own. This will be the fall of democracy around the world. Like, that's not what they want anyway, okay? So they're trying to ramp up the rhetoric to scare people. And Europe, as he put it, Europe may cease to exist. What are going to do? Sink into the Atlantic? Okay. No, the current socialist governments of Europe may cease to exist, but Europe will still be there. Okay. But it's kind of interesting listening to these mental midgets talk and the crap that they're saying that, if Trump wins, Europe may have to be on their own. Good. Europe should be on their own. Okay. NATO is an outdated concept. Okay. Period. I mean, NATO was put into place after World War II, all right, to make sure that the Soviet Union didn't get into Western Europe. Wars aren't fought with, trenches and tanks that much like they were in World War II anymore. Okay. It's a couple of guys sitting on a computer and a button. That's how wars are going to be fought, right? We saw this in Afghanistan for 20 freaking years. It wasn't trench warfare. It wasn't columns of tanks going down. It was guerrilla warfare. It was airstrikes. It was missiles. It was drones. That's the future. NATO is useless. Right? But I want to give you this. Okay, this is why NATO is so panicked. Right? There are 31 countries in NATO, each of whom signed a pact to give 2% of their GDP every year to fund the defense of Europe. The United States overwhelmingly pays more than any other country in Europe. Last time I checked, we aren't in Europe. Okay. So I'm going to give you this. 3.7% is what the U.S. gave. We're obligated to 2, okay? But we gave 3.7%, so nearly double. Right? 3.7% doesn't sound like much, right? Well, our 2023 GDP was $27.64 trillion. If you do the math, that means we will give Europe $1,022,680,000,000 this year. $1.22 trillion. What was that national debt again? Okay. So we're going to spend over $1 trillion to defend somebody else. There are 31 countries in NATO. Us, the United States, Canada, and the rest of them in Europe. Okay. 10 countries pay their dues. Most of Europe does not pay the dues to protect themselves. Okay. Let's take a look at those 10 countries real quick. Look at that. Don't those countries send a shiver down your spine if Russia decides to attack Europe? If China decides to attack Europe? Oh my God, get out the Lithuanian army. They'll stop them. Right? Okay. This is it. You teeny tiny little countries that don't do it. 2% of zero is still zero. Okay. 2% of 100, big freaking deal. You gave $2. Okay. This is it. And the Belgian president is worried that the U.S. is not going to continue to pay money to defend them. They can use the money all on their social justice stuff, and their bullshit green energy crap. We'll defend them, right? This is what he's afraid of. Trump said last time around he wanted to get out of NATO, right? That panics the Europeans, okay? That panics the World Economic Forum. They need us. I've said this many times. So then let's add some other stuff that scares the crap out of them. Last year, 2023, the United States gave $18.88 billion in foreign aid to countries around the world. Okay. That does not include any of the money that we gave to Ukraine. That does not include any of the money that we're giving for the war in Gaza. Okay. $18.88 billion there. And give you this. The United States is the largest donor to the United Nations. Okay. We contributed more than $12 billion in 2021. It's the most recent figure I can find. UN is not real good about putting out their budget. That's 1/5 of the UN's budget. And all the countries in the world, okay, and we gave 20% of the money. We're broke. May I remind anybody, as a country, we are broke, all right? And you wonder where this goes, because this is a real interesting scenario here. In 2000, 44% of the American public approved of, or at least trusted, their leaders and the government. In 2020, 16% trusted the government. After what we've gone through for the last 3 years, where's that number now? 5? Right? This is their worry. They want to start a worldwide globalist government. But they're never going to come out and say the United States doesn't exist anymore, Germany doesn't exist anymore, we're just all earthlings. They're not going to come up with that. They want to rule in the shadows. They want the Davos crowd to completely control the elected leaders around the country, that Joe Biden would take his marching orders from Klaus Schwab and his cronies. Okay. Again, think of all these people that go to Davos. They are a lot of the government officials who are worried about staying in power. And I'm not talking about just us, it's anywhere, okay, any country. They want to be the kings on the hill. They know this is the reason why they'll never do it overtly. There's a lot more of us than there are of them. And as long as they keep nickel and diming all the things away from us, our rights, our freedoms, and keep giving away all that stuff, they're just going to keep taking more and taking more until it gets to a point where there is no more for us to give. This is what panics the globalists about Donald Trump, because he wants to put America first, not Earth first. You see everywhere in all these globalist ideas, these liberal ideas, not to bring the rest of the world up to the standard of living of the people in the United States, but they wanted to bring the United States down to the standard of living of everybody else. We don't hear anything about the middle class growing. We don't hear anything about people being taken out of poverty. We hear more and more stories in the US about the middle class shrinking, more and more people going into poverty. And this is all their plan. This is all what they're trying to do to us. This is why Donald Trump scares the crap out of him, why Georgia Maloney scares the crap out of him, why the guy who got elected, I forget his name off the top of my head, in Argentina, scares the crap out of him. Okay? Because those people want to put their country first. It's about damn time enough people in this country wake up and start saying, we need to put our country first. Because frankly, I don't give a shit what happens to people in Sudan. I don't give a shit what happens to Palestinians. That's their own damn problem. It ain't mine. Pinball out.